Hey everybody, LeeSpeed here. Miss me? I don't know. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but I'll pretend that you did just so I can feel better about myself. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm kidding about that, but I am not sure this time. But yeah, hey everybody, LeeSpeed here. Now, it's interesting because I was going to talk about something else, but you know, I felt like that topic wasn't going to be anything interesting to talk about. And you know what? We got better things to talk about now. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, but I'm not going to talk about everything from Number Hunters. In fact, I'm going to talk about a few cards from the set that, you know, I want to talk about, you know, stuff like that. I mean, you know, that's just how things roll. So for this video, I'm going to be talking about number 87, Queen of the Night, Box of Friends, Zombow, Princess Cologne, number 57, Trihead Dust Dragon, and Photon Alexandra Queen. Yeah, those are the cards in that order that we're going to be talking about. And for people wondering, wait, did you just talk about number 87, Queen of the Night last video? Yes. Remember, the image was blurred out, and at the time, we didn't know all the effects. We only knew one of the effects, and the stats we weren't necessarily sure of as far as attack goes. But now we know everything about Queen of the Night. And I even saw the picture on eBay, so, you know, like the actual card. So I can pretty much confirm that. So number 87, Queen of the Night. As before, she is a water. Plant exceeds effect. Rank 8, 3200 attack, 2800 defense. So she has much more attack than we thought initially. And for the amount of level 8s, it takes 3 level 8s to make. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach one Exceeds material from this card, then activate one of these effects. Now we knew one of the effects, but I'm going to go through all 3 of them. The first effect, target one set spell/trap card your opponent controls. While this card is face up on the field, that set card cannot be activated. Effect number 2, target one plant type monster on the field, change that target to face down defense position. Effect number 3, target one face up monster on the field, that target gains 300 attack. So first off, you're going to notice it takes 3 level 8 monsters to make. Now that's a pretty hefty cost right off the jump. Now, to be fair, like this Thalia plant deck I'm running can make this card. In fact, I'm running an extra level 8 plant. I'm in Titanium to do this, but you know that's just my preference. I mean, you could probably run this in other decks too, but the thing is, like 3 level 8 monsters, that's very hefty to make this card as it is. And in this deck, I mean, if I have 3 level 8 plants, I'm probably winning the game by now. But the effects are okay for this card. They're not like the best, but for what, you know, I guess the whole theme of this card is, it works. So for the first effect, pretty much kind of a Night Beam-esque kind of effect. Well, not Night Beam, but the that one Fire Formation card, Gyoko. It pretty much works like that, technically, because, you know, you target a set spell trap the opponent has, and then they cannot activate it, basically, while she's chilling out on the field. And then, you know, that's pretty self-explanatory. You can probably use it in combination with a few other cards, you know, like, and since it's a quick effect, you can activate it at their end phase, so you can lock down one of their cards before they get to use it. So, yeah, that's kind of cool. Effect number 2, target a plant type monster on the field and change the target to face down defense. Now, I mentioned that in a mirror match with plants, you can flip one of their monsters face down, but to be honest, you can use it on herself too, and this is actually pretty good because she can potentially protect herself from certain card effects, especially those that involve face-up monsters or something like that, or monsters that are in attack position. And she still has a 2800 defense, so if they go Mirror Force, you could chain Queen of the Night's effect, flip herself face down, and then they're gonna need a pretty strong monster to run her over because she's got 2800 defense, so not that easy to run over in battle. Then effect number 3, target a face-up monster on the field. That target gains 300 attack. You can target any monster. So you can target one of your monsters or one of your opponents. I don't know, if you target one of your opponent's monsters, you're probably only going to be doing that to maybe disrupt a card combo where, you know, maybe an opponent's monster has to have like low attack or something like that, and if you raise it a little bit higher, it becomes useless for certain situations. But I don't know, it's just kind of weird. But you can also boost yourself to 3,500 the first round, then you can do it again. And remember, it's a quick effect, so you can do it during like during the opponent's turn. So if they attack, you can just go, okay, effect during the damage step, activate her effect, she gains 300 attack. And then you can combine it with other cards like Forbidden Lance or whatever to weaken the opponent. So there's a few things you can do, but the fact that it's 3 level 8s, it is a bit of a turn off. but I'm going to use this card regardless. And decks like Gimmick Puppets can use this as well, since they got a lot of level 8 monsters, and some of them can be special summoned rather easily. But I don't know enough about the deck to, you know, just make a deck like the Gimmick Puppets or whatever. So there you go. There's number 87, Queen of the Night, redone. Or discussion redone. Next, Box of Friends. Now, before we didn't even know what this card did, we only knew that it summoned out 2 monsters with like 0 attack or defense from your deck. Now we know everything. It is a monster, an effect monster, light machine effect, level 1, 0 attack and defense. If this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 2 normal monsters with different names with 0 attack or defense from your deck in face up defense position. You can only use this effect of Box of Friends once per turn. The monsters special summoned by this effect cannot be used as synchro material monsters, and they are destroyed during your next end phase. So, not as busted as everybody thought it was going to be, but honestly, I do find it cute that, you know, Konami is trying to make balanced cards like Box of Friends and whatnot. Now, to be fair, maybe later down the road it'll be broken, but right now it doesn't seem broken. But there are a few cool things you can do with this card, especially since there are no restrictions as far as, you know, the normal monsters you can summon, since it doesn't specify a level. So, for example, you can get like, I don't know, you can get like a Labyrinth Wall and Millennium Shield. They have 0 attack points, and they have different names, and they're level 5. So next turn, you can just go for a rank 5 play if you want to do that, and then you can also use them Gem Knights because they got like a couple monsters that have like 0 attack and defense. They got like Garnet with like 0 defense, and then they got Sapphire with 0 attack. So there's quite a few things you can do, and you could probably make a deck around this, but I guess the only problem that I have with this card is that since it has to be normal monsters with different names, it's kind of restrictive in that regard, but it doesn't restrict you from levels. So you can get level 5s with 0 attack or defense and whatnot. And I guess the other problem being that the monsters in the box, they're actually in the manga, they're doll monsters. Yeah, they're like doll monsters or something like that, and they were used by Princess Cologne in the manga, and we're gonna get to her later because she is actually, well, a card technically. Well, the card is based on her, but yeah, we're not gonna go any further than that because I was just sounding kind of weird. And the next card, it actually works in tandem with Box of Friends. It is Zombow. Yeah, Zombow. Good job, Konami. But anyway, Zombow is a zombie effect, dark, level 2, 1000 attack, 1000 defense. When this card declares an attack, it gains 500 attack. If this card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 level 1 monster with 0 attack and defense from your deck. Its effects are negated and is destroyed during your next end phase. So, pretty much, he powers himself up whenever he's attacking, so he can become 1500 and he can potentially get stronger every turn. But I mean, that's probably not what you're going to want to be doing. You're probably going to be wanting to set him, let your opponent destroy it, and then grab yourself a Box of Friends from your deck. Isn't that cute? I mean, you know, I like this idea. It's cute, and who knows, maybe later on we're going to get more cards that work in tandem with Box of Friends, because with what we have right now, the options are kind of limited, but it's definitely going to be a lot of fun. In fact, I'm excited to make a deck around Box of Friends and stuff like that. Next card, Princess Cologne. Now, I talked about how Princess Cologne is a character in the Zexal manga. Now, this card is based on that character and whatnot. So, yeah, Princess Cologne is a light Fairy Exceeds effect, rank 4, 500 attack, 2200 defense. Takes 82 level 4 monsters to make, so it's generic. When this card is Exceed summoned, you can target 1 Box of Friends in your graveyard. Special summon that target. If you control another monster, your opponent cannot target this card with cards, effects, or for attacks. If a face-up normal monster or monsters you control is destroyed by battle or by card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can detach 1 Exceeds material from this card. Special summon 1 normal monster from your deck or graveyard in face-up defense position. So, yeah, first off, it's generic. Very awesome, because in my mind, I was thinking, yeah, you can bring back Box of Friends with this card's effect when you bring her out by an Exceed summon, but the effect that lets you detach a material and then bring back a normal monster from your graveyard or special summon one from the deck it doesn't matter what the level is. So from your deck, you can run other normal monsters that may not have 0 attack or defense. So you can run like Blue Eyes White Dragon. You can also run cards like Gustal Emerald to help with the whole theme of bringing back normal monsters from the graveyard. And what's cool is that you can also do like a mini lock with Princess Cologne, because of if you have another monster, she cannot be attacked or be targeted by effects. But if you have 2 of them, neither of them can be attacked or be targeted. So basically, you have a lock, basically similar to the Watt Hopper lock. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, I like this card, and the fact that you could run something like Rescue Rabbit, because you know a deck with Rescue Rabbit will be running normal monsters. You could do something like that, but I'm not sure. This is all stuff that we've got to test out later on and whatnot. So I'm definitely excited for this theme of Box of Friends and all this cute, adorable stuff that, you know, once we get more stuff, I mean, I think this will be very cool and very fun, even if it's not competitive like Dragon Rulers and whatnot. In fact, I don't even care about that. I mean, to be honest, I'm bored of the men, and that's kind of why I'm talking about this, but, you know, it's going to be a lot of fun. Next card, number 57, Tri-Head Dust Dragon. Now, I know some people aren't a big fan of this card, but I kind of like it. It's kind of cool, and it looks awesome. Seriously, it looks so awesome. But anyways, number 57, Tri-Head Dust Dragon is a fire dragon, exceeds effect rank 4, 100 attack, 2600 defense. Takes 3 level 4 monsters to make, so it's pretty much like Shockmaster, number 69, Heraldry Crest, etc. When this card is special summoned, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. This card gains attack equal to that monster's original attack. If your opponent controls more cards than you do, you can detach 1 Exceeds material from this card, then choose a monster card zone or spell and trap card zone. While this face-up card is on the field, that zone cannot be used. So basically, he could gain the attack of any monster the opponent has. So you can pretty much target their strongest monster, and he'll gain that same attack with 100 points higher, because he starts with an original attack of 100. So he'll be he could be 100 attack points higher than the strongest monster the opponent has on the field. I guess the only real downside is that the second effect is okay, but certain decks can probably make use of this effect much better than like any other decks that may just spam out rank 4s. The other problem is that it takes 3 level 4s, and normally when you think about monsters that take 3 level 4s that people use, they use like Shockmaster, stuff like that. So people aren't really a big fan of this card, but the thing is, you can use it with other ground collabs and stuff like that, because you know ground collabs can let you pick 2 of your opponent's monster zones and they cannot use them, so you can kind of lock them out of monster zones, but your opponent has to have more cards than you do. So be careful about that, because you might not be able to do that if they have less cards than you do. And you know, you can use stuff like Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon to bring it out of the grave and use the effect again. So, and you can use stuff like Debris Dragon, bring back Golem Dragon and stuff like that. And yeah, it's pretty nice. Anyways, last card, Photon Alexandrite Queen. She is a light warrior, exceeds effect rank 4, 2400 attack, 1200 defense. Takes 2 level 4 Butter Spy monsters to make. You know, the Butter Spies from Galactic Overlord? Hint, hint. But anyways, you can detach 1 Exceeds material from this card. Return all monsters on the field to the hand. Then inflict 300 damage to each player for each monster that was returned. So it's pretty much like Many on the Time Lord or Massive Compulsory Evac device. So I like this stuff. Like, it's really cool. And there's like another Butter Spy called Blue Mountain Butter Spy, but we're not going to get into that in this video. I mean, I'll link everything in the description, so let me know what you guys think about this stuff. I mean, I'm looking forward to these new cards, so yeah, talk to you guys later.